Greetings, Jedi traders. David here of TradingFibs.com to bring you the daily trend for May 3rd, 2016. We are in week 18 of the year. As always, please seek financial advice when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only, to support your knowledge of the market, see what's going through my head on any given day. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and always manage your stop when placing a trade. All right, here we go. We are in week 18. It was all about who knew which way we were going today. Let's get to the bottom here. Scrolling down, and it is not Wednesday. It is Tuesday. There we go. 3 markets, 6 setups, 199 ticks for the day with 1 loss on the NQ today. Trend of the day, there it was on the crude to the downside, and then on the 3 indices finally popping up on price action. Here we can see the 2 charts in confirmation here on the buy signal, 3 charts in confirmation, excuse me, on the NQ, 2 charts on the YM, 3 charts on the ES after a slight pullback, soft pullback, entry to the upside on 3 charts. And to the upside we went to give us a little piece. And what to keep you in the trend? Nothing better than multiple moving averages. Choose 1, choose 2, choose them all to keep you in the trend. There was the end result, ending up with several more setups, but at least on those 3 indices for the day, all the way to the upside, and finally exiting on the crossover. So there it was, trend trade of the day. Let's take a look at economic data for the day. Again, very light. Redbook, Gallup US. Here at the early morning, motor vehicle sales. Nothing more than Fed speakers out for the remaining part of the session. Looking at the AD line for today, advancers and decliners, market internals. There we were. Price action, again, starting all the way to the downside. There we saw solid Heikin-Ashi bars. Tails down again. This is a 10-minute chart. We start with a 1 minute and progressing every 30 minutes till we find up at 10. We have a 10-period moving average here. Again, price action driving down that first trend to the downside, and then finally giving us a pop up here and pretty much settling out. So there was our AD line across the board. Let's jump right into the charts here. Again, move of the day on the crude as price action here opened up at the top of the hour, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Solid body down, Heikin-Ashi bars indicating the crossover in the background. There's your sell signal. How many charts in sync? Well, let's count it. We have 1 and 2 in the red, 2 in the green, indicates a hold off. Not that you can't trade it, but what was the better entry? Solid body tail down right here. 4 charts in the red at 9.52 with a slight pullback and back to the downside. Again, it all depends on where you place your stop there, Jedi traders. Keeping your stop at the swing size or slightly above ensures a higher probability that your trade will work out. I'm not asking you to let your stop come all the way back there and take you out. I'm just asking you to give the market a little bit of room, especially when you have numerous charts, probability in the red. And there we were, for the most part, crude sliding down. We have EIA report out tomorrow. All right, let's take a look at the ES. Taking a look at the ES here. Let me make sure I have my charts. Yep, taking a look at the ES. Price action again on the ES. A little bit choppy from the get-go, but let's go back and remember yesterday's price action to the upside as we saw T3 moving averages crossing to the upside at yesterday's close. Remember that move. Overnight session pretty much ripped that a new one down to the downside. And so we opened up the market here. Pre-market session was pretty much in a chop. And there it was, the 1 minute chart primarily with a downtrend. Again, very messy day when we look at trend. Pretty much the AM session chop all the way to the European close here at 11:30. We lifted back up only to finish pretty much halfway. Early morning session on the ES, probably best of the setups. Set up to the downside. You can catch that in my trading blog there at TradingFibs.com. Sell signal down here. 1, 2, 3 charts in the red put you into the trade to the downside, and again manage or stopped out. Re-entry down here 4 charts in the red puts you into the downside. Again, using multiple moving averages to keep you in the trend. Again, a little bit of chop mid-session. Again, only looking for the setups where price action was to the downside, which was in line with that AD line that we just showed you there. As price action on the AD line was to the downside, found that pop up after Euro session and pretty much finished flat out. It was the PM session that offered that wonderful opportunity that we just saw in the charts in the beginning. Solid body, Heikin Ashi bar, buy signal on 3 to charts, with price action again crossing over the 51.44. So here we see the buy signal here at 12.37. Price action just starting to break above here, above the 51.44, and finally in the green and to the upside. Same picture on the NQ. NQ a tough one this morning as price action again very choppy. Only looking for the entries to the downside. Not that anything ran with any substance here. Let's go back early session here. Again, these were all the moves in the early morning. Thought we were headed towards a similar session like yesterday. Up, down, up, down, up, down. What the heck is that? So you either just said, hey, I could see this. All it took was 1 or 2 moves, or perhaps a loss in there to say, hands off. I'm going to wait for something more substantial. Again, overnight session was downside. We chopped it up in the beginning. Here was this move here. Price action really couldn't get going and finally dropped here together with the other indices. But it really was the move in the PM session that lifted up. So again, you're looking for a move downside here, but you don't have a lot of candles in trend. So here's the market open. Let's open that up for you a little bit better here. This price action, sell signals, sell signals, sell signals. So this is all pre-market. We're taking a look here at this price action right here. So we're not going buy signal because AD line is upside, tick count is downside. AD line is downside, excuse me. Tick count is downside. Market internals are downside. Why go buy signal upside? So you look for the sell signals to the downside. Here's market open. First sell signal to the downside. You got nothing here. The only thing you're getting is buy signals. So, yeah, you're right. You have 3 charts in the green. You have 3 charts in the green. But again, AD line is in the red. Tick count is in the red. I'm not going long. Finally, NQ together with the other indices for trend number 1 of the day. Sell signal, 2 charts in the red. Difficult to take like any other setup. So you look for the perhaps soft pullback entry, but really never came. So sometimes you just have to let trend run away from you and say, hey, my setup was just not there. Patience, patience, patience pays off until the NQ finally took a nice move together with the other 3 indices. Yes, much better setup. Buy signal to the upside. Solid Heikin Ashi bar with 3 charts in the green. And your Heikin Ashi bar, your 1-minute bars starting to move upside here. At the same point, the ES and the YM were moving upside. Let's take a look at the YM. YM again, same setup of the day, same similar setup. Overnight, price action drops together with the NQ and the ES to the downside. And finally, at that post 1 hour European session, mid lunchtime Eastern Standard Time, breaking above at 12:37. Buy signal again. We have 1, 2 charts in sync after the soft pullback. Price action breaks to the upside, giving us a 3rd future to the long. And again, we show that to you at the beginning of this recap of the daily trend. It was on all 3 indices to the upside. Price action here. And there she was, exiting on the crossover. All right, looking ahead to tomorrow. Let's take a look at a daily pick on the crude right now on the 4-hour chart. Crude in a pullback. A pullback in an upwards trend. 50 still above the 144. Price action, we have upside. We have a Fibonacci extension up here, 47.97 in a fib pullback here at 23%. 200 period moving average and below 50 period moving average. If we break that 61.8, Look for the 50-period moving average right now at 39.29, which would change over the next couple days if price action were to not find support first at the 200-period moving average. Again, volume subpar. Let's take a look at some of the other big pictures here as the NQ breaking that 250 MA support, volume above the 60 period today. Very nice. T3 moving averages have been downside underneath the 51 to 44, indicating a downward confirmed trend on the NQ. ES here working its way towards the 50 and the 200, still on a T3 moving average. Look at that, right on the overnight action, price action, button up against that 50 EMA and coming back down. T3 moving averages crossing, so indicating the downwards trend, but we are still in an upward trend as the 50 is still above the 144. Upward trend pullback. Same picture on the YM. 50 MA, 200 MA, keep those in line, but it's the T3 moving averages crossing back to the downside. 50 still above the 144, but again, same reject over here. So looking ahead, look for the intraday setup, but big picture NQ still to the downside, unable to get back up to that 50 MA. And meanwhile, ES and YM holding steady here. Again, any confirmed downtrend will be the 50 crossing the 144. So if we continue to the downside on the intraday, again, indecision candles here, so nothing confirmed trending down. We'll have to wait for the overnight session. But the 50 and the 200 MA first levels of support, if for any other reason you believe the market is coming down, watch for that intraday setup. Remember, markets run in both directions on any given day. Keep in mind that we have daily gaps each day. Daily gaps, again, pulling off the former highs of 2015. So go ahead and draw yourself some Fibonacci retracement. But just looking at daily gaps, we have nothing to the upside in the S, but we do still have the daily gap to the downside, 1851.75. YM all the way down here at 15,838, together with the NQ, both levels above and below on a Fibonacci extension here, holding up at 38%, open gap down below at 40.17, and finally our crude making a retracement here, as we just saw in the Fib retracement, open gaps down below. Seems likely, when you take a look at the 4-hour chart, that that's where we might be headed. Also, make sure every day following your volume profile, looking at, that's right, looking at the 600-day volume points of control. Those are lines of interest, especially when price action hones around. Looking at the daily Fibonacci projection levels, it was the YM that we were able to hit today, right down here, 17,615, so hitting our target, as well as the ES coming to 2051.50. All right, so back to our daily pick again. Price action continued downtrend on the NQ until I can get confirmed T3 moving average breaking back up above the 50, back up above the 144. We are in a continued downtrend. Again, it shouldn't reflect your intraday setup, as price action may just continue downside and upside like we saw today. But for the big picture, we now remain in a downtrend. T3 moving averages crossing over on all two of the indices, and T3 moving averages on the NQ to the downside and an overall downwards trend. All right, looking ahead to tomorrow for economic calendar. Again, we got the mortgage applications, ADP employment. Looking ahead to the end of the week, non-farm payrolls, but it is the crude report out tomorrow. Keep your heads up for that as the market will move. Be careful in that first hour of trading. Please make sure you visit tradingfibs.com to keep a weekly update on my trading session focus as we run through each daily key setups, including all three indices and crude. Check out my new post over here at See It Market, the ins and outs of joining a trading room. And as always, futures, ETF, and market cap leaders, the weekly newsletter with a recap on the indices, including the weekly supplemental technical momentum outlook that includes 98 pages of fun, that's right, charts and videos for your pleasure, covering a variety of industries from the futures to the industrials, FX pairs, and total stock markets. All right, that concludes an insight into the state of the indices and the daily trend. Feel free to stop by at tradingfibs.com or any of my social media outlets to obtain more information. My trading mantra of one simple strategy: any market, any chart, any time frame will keep you disciplined. You can find me every day on Twitter at TradingFibs. And as always, I leave the crystal ball to the experts. I only trade what's in front of me and on my charts. And as always, leave your bias at the door when trading. Have yourselves a Blue Zone day, good night, and good trading.